Chucker, eh?
How's it going, and welcome back to the Sharp Hand Path. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, and we are doing another martial arts collection video. This is going to be C to G minus one exception, and that exception is starting off this video with the thing that I said it was going to be impossible to get, but I finally tracked down a copy that was a reasonable enough price. And what I'm talking about is Bloodsport 3. And if that cover looks familiar, well, that's because this image is also on Bloodsport 2. I feel like they should have just enhanced this image and made it part of the thing, but it is what it is. So I found a copy of Bloodsport 3, and it is a Region 2 version, but it plays in my Xbox here in Canada, so it is what it is. If it didn't, I also have a multi-region player, DVD player, so getting this in Region 2 wasn't that big of a deal. Quality could be better. I doubt we're ever going to get the Bloodsport series on Blu-ray. I probably got the Van Damme one on Blu-ray somewhere, but I don't think we're going to get the Daniel Bernhardt versions on Blu-ray. So this is probably the best video quality I'm going to get, and it fills out my Bloodsport collection. So yeah, Bloodsport 3 with Daniel Bernhardt. Let's check out the disc. Holy hell, that's very saturated. Look how red he is. Dude got a 10.5. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. God damn. But yeah, this is an okay one. It's not as good as the second one, and obviously not as good as the Van Damme Bloodsport, but it is better than the abomination of the Dark Kumite. And yeah, and at least has Pat Morita in it. So Mr. Miyagi's in this. Very cool. Pretty much has Daniel Bernhardt's character kind of reminiscing with his son a beach, I think, teaching him some ways of the Iron Fist. Yeah, and he's kind of telling his son about how he avenged the death of his master in this, which was James Hong, I believe. And it's funny because the guy that runs the Kumite in this is Sully from the Indiana Jones series, which it's so weird because Sully's such a lovable character. He's like, Indy, we meet again under such weird circumstances. Like, I love that guy. He's such a cool, loving character. It's so weird to see that he's like a bad guy running a corrupt Kumite in this, and Alex Cardot has to beat his best to champion the Beast or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. But yeah, this starts going into some weird directions with the Iron Fist technique. He can like hit something with his hand, doesn't even touch it, and it bursts out the back of the board, or he can start a fire with just willpower with the Iron Fist technique. It starts getting to some weird supernatural territory with it. Not sure why they decided to take that route when none of the other films ever hinted at any sort of supernatural powers regarding any of the martial arts. Even Van Damme using his like palm technique to break the fourth out of the 5 bricks. Just the one exploding was just supposed to be like a special technique. It was never supposed to be supernatural powers. So interesting, again, that they went that way with this. But yeah, not bad. It's still worth getting if you like martial arts movies from the 90s and stuff. This one specifically, I think, is 97. But yes, let's move on. There's a lot more to check out here. Glad that I finally have a copy of that in my collection, though. Next is a classic. This is one that every martial artist or martial arts cinema fan must have. This is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with Chow Yun-fat, Michelle Yeoh, and others. It even has Chang Pei Pei as the Jade Fox or the Jade Witch or something. Interesting to see her at that age in this, but still kicks a lot of ass. This thing, I remember seeing it when I was in my young 20s and thinking, what the fuck, how can they run on bamboo and trees and stuff? But the more kung fu movies you see, the less weird that is. But yeah, it's a classic, and again, I feel like probably should just be in every martial artist or martial arts cinema fans collection. I need to get the second one, which has Donnie Yen in it. That one's also pretty good. I know some people hate on it, but I also enjoyed that with the jade sword or whatever it is. But yeah, for whatever reason you don't know what's going on in this film, basically there's this special green sword that is, I guess, really strong and allows the person that uses it to be extra proficient and skilled in their techniques. It's too powerful for most people to have, and if the bad people get it, then they'll be unstoppable. So basically this whole town is charged with protecting it and not allowing anyone to get it. And Chow Yun-fat's character is one of the main protectors of it. And he used to wield it, but then they put it away. And it's a big, long, epic story. But yeah, really, really good. Staple in anyone's collection. The next couple are questionable if they're considered martial arts films or not. There's some sword fighting and some hand-to-hand combat. I feel like this is more considered a video game film than a martial arts film, but just bear with me. This is DOA, Dead or Alive, based on kind of like a fighting game. You know, it's been a while since I've seen this, but I feel like some of the fights in here are actually pretty good. And I feel like this probably got way more crap than it deserved. Same could be said with the next two films. It really depends on your tastes and how much cheesiness and terrible CGI you're willing to tolerate. But for me, I feel like this was pretty good. Let's check out the disc. And who doesn't like badass female leads kicking butt? I know I do. Let me know your thoughts on DOA, Dead or Alive. How does it compare to the game lore-wise? Does it hold up? Is the fighting scenes and action good for you? Do you consider this a martial arts film at all? That'd be cool to discuss in the comments. But yeah, just something that's in the collection. This was originally from the wife's collection when, like, before she and I got together. I guess she really liked that game, or maybe the women in it, because she also digs women, which, hey. Anyways, moving on. The next one is a bad movie, but I like it. So, suck it up. I had a copy of this earlier on in a different format. It was like a cardboard flip over one, but I gave that to my Shifu and my sister to have, because I ended up finding the MVD rewind version of it. Special edition, Double Dragon from the 90s. Just so good. I'm gonna have to eventually get a t-shirt or something of that. But yeah, it's the only Double Dragon movie we ever got, unfortunately. I feel like we missed out on having some really, really good Double Dragon films in our lives. This one flopped so hard and they just never tried again. Sucks, because Double Dragon is an amazing series. There's the back, and it has a butt ton of features that I have yet to check out. This is not a cheap DVD to get or Blu-ray to get. So when I saw this for $5 at my local flea market, holy Moses, I about squealed like a schoolgirl. And everyone was looking at me like, what the hell? But it's for good reason, because I enjoy this movie. There's some really freaking funny slapstick, and a young Mark Dacascos is in this as Billy. Or Jimmy? No, as Jimmy. You'd think he'd be Billy, but no, he's Jimmy. So that's cool. And then Robert Patrick, you know, the T-1000, he's the main bad guy in this. And then Abobo is just this weird blob monster thing, because that's what he looked like in the video game, so that's what you have to make him look like on here, even though his face doesn't make any sense even looking at the video game. He just has a big head. What's with all the blobbiness on the side? I don't know. So they gave them superpowers in this film, which I don't hate. And the costumes, they never wear the outfits from the video games. They never give them those vests. So they go from having just normal street clothes with no look to their video game counterparts to like these Power Ranger outfits, basically without the helmets. And you're like, what the fuck? Where's the middle zone? Where's the just punk vests, metal vests going on with like the arm pad? Like, this series could have been so good if they had just followed the weird dystopian kind of like Warriors meets Street Fighter. It could have been so good. And it sucks, because we'll never get another Double Dragon movie unless we get a game that sells millions of copies, and no one is out there buying tons of copies of Double Dragon Gaiden, even though Double Dragon Gaiden is amazing. And yes, I'm aware it's pronounced Gaiden, but who wants to call it Gaiden? Doesn't sound great. So yeah, Double Dragon Gaiden was great. I have a copy of Double Dragon Neon that I need to go back and play. Also a pretty good game, even though that got shit on. Go play and buy some Double Dragon games, please, so we can get another movie. We need another movie badly. This can't be the only one we ever get. Moving on to something that I don't really care about. I don't remember even why I got it. I think I was trying to get into Dragon Ball or something. Anyways, this is Dragon Ball Evolution. There's obviously fighting in this. There's obviously some martial arts going on in this. I haven't seen it since I first bought it, so I can't really tell you whether it should be in a martial arts collection video or not. Maybe you can tell me. I'm sure there's people just dying to say how terrible and poopy this film is. Again, gonna have to go back and watch it again. I'm not someone that's ever really watched the Dragon Ball series, like the cartoons. I think I saw 3 episodes when I was in my teens, and all 3 of those episodes, one guy was charging up a Kamehameha the whole time, and then the young Goku is running around the world a million times. I'm like, what the frick is going on? I just turned it off. I'm like, I couldn't. It just made no sense to me. I guess that's why I didn't mind this movie, because I had nothing else to compare it to. So on its own, cool. All right, the next one, I feel like a lot of people really, really like this film, and this definitely deserves to be in a martial arts collection video. This is 47 Ronin with the one, the only Keanu Reeves. So that's cool. At least it's got Keanu Reeves in it. And then it's got that guy that's on a lot of early thousands films who has the skull tattoo, and he doesn't really have acting skills or anything. He looks cool to Hollywood, so they put him in stuff. Really odd choice. He's in, I think, a Lady Gaga video as well. I guess you just have to look really freaky and wild, and Hollywood will just cast you in stuff. So yeah, this is a brilliant film, and again, if you like Keanu Reeves, he's in that. I can't really tell you how accurate to Ronin or samurai stuff this really is. I'm not like a super duper history nerd when it comes to samurai stuff. I'm more of a fan of like ninja and shinobi type of things. I know that technically samurais might have been shinobi back in the day, but there's like a thing where maybe they're not. Maybe ninjas never actually existed the way we think of them today. It's a huge thing. But regardless, I think this film was pretty good. I can't remember too much about it. There's a lot of sword fighting in it. There's a lot of samurai type of action and old styleness. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people will probably have this in their collection. 47 Ronin. The next are a couple of sort of Ip Man movies, like especially this one. This one is The Grandmaster with Tony Leung in it. Really, really good. Ziyi Zhang is in it. And yeah, it says once upon a time in Kung Fu, inspired by the true story of Bruce Lee's master. Inspired by probably heavily. Probably very little to do with his actual life events. And this one is it's good. There's some good fight scenes in it, but this is very artsy fartsy type of stuff. It's not really my thing. It's not like Jet Li's Hero, not that kind of artsy fartsy, but there's a lot of like inner dialogue being said. There's a lot of like exposition and narration going on, stuffy kind of pretentious feel to some of it. It's very self-important feeling. The fight scenes are slowed down and supposed to seem very dramatic and crazy. A visually exquisite film. It's a very artsy kind of thing. Like if A1 ever did a martial arts film, this would probably be something they'd do. Anywho, this is about Ip Man at a certain point of his life. There's a bunch of different new styles popping up here and there, and he's defending Wing Chun, falling for this girl at one point. Yeah, the female in this is the same girl that's from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So that's cool, and is a film by Wong Kar-wai. And there's a couple of interesting special features. The Grandmaster, from Ip Man to Bruce Lee, a conversation with Shannon Lee, and there's the Grandmaster according to RZA. So RZA from Wu-Tang speaks a bit about this film as well. But yeah, really good, but really up its own ass and artsy fartsy. Not the Ip Man movie I'd normally go for. You know what I wish we had? I wish we had the 10 Kings and Ip Man, or whatever that film is. I'll put it here and probably the proper title, but I wish that had a DVD or Blu-ray release, because that was a really good Ip Man film in his later years. That was sort of like this. Might even had the same actor, like was Tony Leung in that as well. But yeah, I wish they had this on DVD, and if you know somewhere that does, let me know. I need that in my collection. All right, and the last thing in this collection is the last of the G's, and that is the Grandmaster of Kung Fu, and I'm pretty sure that's Dennis To. I'll do some research. It's been a while since I've watched this, and I'll put the proper actor on if it's not Dennis To, but I'm pretty sure that's Dennis To. And yeah, it's like before Ip Man, there was Master Ho, or Hwang Ji-ho. I can't remember the name of the master, but it's like a few masters before Ip Man, and he was kind of like the big shit before Ip Man came along. So yeah, let's open this up, show you the inside. There it is, the Grandmaster of Kung Fu. This is really, really good. Basically, Hwang Ji-ho comes to this kind of smaller town, and there's some people that think they're good fighters and top shit. They have the stage at the beginning where they're fighting a couple people and proving that they're kung fu superior, and basically they bug him until he goes up there and he's like, all right, and just mops the floor with them, and people don't like that he's that good, so he's constantly having to prove himself and just kind of live in that town, kind of becomes like a folk hero because of how good of a kung fu master he is. And again, I'm pretty sure that's Dennis To in this, but if not, I will put the proper actor's name in it. But yeah, it's a Hi-YAH channel original. I don't know if I can get the Hi-YAH channel in Canada, but they do have a few pretty cool movies they put out. This one was from 2019. But yeah, I feel like this maybe went under the radar, so if you haven't seen it, excellent kung fu action, very Ip Man type of fighting, but with very like Wushu, Jet Li style as well thrown in for good measure. It's like a mix of both. I feel like it's on the way to becoming Wing Chun, but it's not Wing Chun yet. But he definitely uses some stuff in there. Yeah, good film. And that's it. That is my collection update for this video. The C's through G minus the one Bloodsport that I wanted to update you guys on. The next video on this channel will probably be about 3 very specific films that I find very interesting that are kind of bad, but I enjoy them. And then after that will probably be my Orange Belt board breaking video showing which boards I broke and what boards my sons probably broke, because they'll be doing some board breaking too. My oldest doing their yellow belt board breaking, and then my middle child will be doing their white belt board breaking. It'll be their first time ever breaking a board, maybe. So yeah, that's probably what's going to be coming up on this channel next. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, Shei, Na Shin, and one on.
We should run. We should hide. We should kick their butts.